The organization, CCOR is the host organization for LOOKNorth. This was a huge selling factor for this CSER. CCOR has a great track record. The fact that CCOR is already in place and a not-for-profit company, and we could develop and deliver this program underneath CCOR, basically eliminated anywhere from 6 months to 12 months worth of ramp-up time, putting the board of directors in place, the governance structure, the HR, the benefits package for recruiting, even the admin support, the IT support, the fact that it's all there. We said, because this is there, we can be up and running in 3 to 6 months, and then we've achieved that goal. Some of the other CSERs have taken anywhere from a year to a year and a half to get to the stage where we are today. So this was a huge selling factor of the CSER program, that we could get up and running quickly. I report to Charles on LOOKNorth, and we have several different functions within LOOKNorth, from the R&D manager. I think I saw Neil in the audience here, Neil Cater. R&D manager looking after our interactions with the R&D community, the technology evaluations, finance manager, administrative IT support, communications outreach manager. I think I see Deirdre here. Some of these folks are here because they're very young organization, recent hires, and they're listening to me to figure out what we're supposed to be doing. So I'm trying to refine what we're doing as I'm presenting this too. We'll be running some validation projects out of LOOKNorth that I'll talk about. The Northern Analyst position, we hired somebody that came on board last week, basically to understand the landscape of the North. How do you do business in the North? It's a whole different environment than what we're used to here. We're Southerners delivering Southern solutions to Southern companies that operate in the North. Now that we're operating in the North, there's a whole other community we have to engage in, roadblocks and opportunities there. So we need to understand that. All driven by land claims agreements and business development managers. And I think we're pretty close to completing this. We've got one spot left in the business development in the org chart under business development, and I think we're fairly close to finishing that. The advisory committee is made up of stakeholders from the CSER program from the province, Charles Rambo, and we'll have representation from the other sectors, from the mining, oil and gas, and hydroelectric sector. Different roles in the advisory committee, make sure we're delivering programs that meet our mandate. Also do the evaluations of the projects and the proposals that are coming in. LOOKNorth. Well, the majority of LOOKNorth is based in St. John's. This is, of course, buildings in St. John's, and this floor here on Marks Road in Canada. The majority of the folks are in those two locations. And LOOKNorth as a center will deliver a series of programs. These programs are in the final review stages. They'll be published on the website, which will be launched the last week of May. But I want to run through what we're proposing for those programs at the top level, and give you a sense of where there might be opportunities in here. The sector assessments, everything gets driven by the sector assessments. That's our business development folks going out and talking to the different sectors, the different phases of their activities, whether they're looking to bid on a parcel of land or a tract offshore through their seismic exploration development, even mine closure phases. What are the information needs during those phases? And they'll go through a series of workshops, personal interviews, research to get the sector assessments done. To the extent that client confidentiality is respected, we'll be able to publish the results of those and make those available to the community. Once we identify an information need, the technology validation program is a program where we'll co-sponsor demonstrations of technologies that have reached a certain level of maturity and have enough metrics around that project that if it's successful in that demonstration, the sponsor, the industry sponsor, will keep that project going and integrate that technology into their operations. So that's one of the core programs that we'll be offering. The R&D program is all about technology evaluations, the technology fit for the solution, what technologies are out there, supporting the research community, working with the Genesis Center to get that technology commercialized and into the small business community that can deliver that as a solution. There's a scope of activities within the R&D program. Outreach and education. One of the challenges we face is engaging the resource sector community and on a discussion level where we all understand what the technology base is that we're talking about. So giving briefings on what the Earth observation technologies are capable of doing, of what the aerial platforms are capable of doing, UAVs, subsea technology, what they're capable of doing, and how they may address the information needs is one way to get the dialogue going with the resource sector. Plus, providing these briefings in the northern environment. You have to get these technologies accepted by these institutions of public government, northern communities, to get a project approved in many cases. So going up north and actually raising the level of awareness, not only of the LOOKNorth program and CSER, but also the actual technology platforms and why they should be used in that particular environment. SME support services, these are advisory services that disseminate the wealth of knowledge that we should be creating. The sector assessments are market research. That market research will be available to the community here locally and across Canada. Those, that should help extend the marketing reach of the small business community. The northern analysts, the landscape that they put together on how to do business in the north will be extremely valuable to folks that want to go up north, and that information is freely available. LOOKNorth doesn't actually deliver the technology validation services. We engage the small business community through a call for proposal process, other processes to deliver services to the sector. And we don't develop the technology. We'll actually be looking for the other network centers of excellence, the universities, the government labs, even the industry itself to find where those technologies are and try to connect the dots to make a project go ahead. So in summary, what the business opportunity here is, we'll go out and we'll identify the business opportunity in terms of the information need. We'll do the homework on the behalf of the resource sector to say, here's the technologies that should be useful in addressing that information need. Find the small business partner that can deliver the solution and build a project around that. Put that out for a call for proposals, put that out into an RFP process, and then co-fund a technology validation project. We'll also go look for the other, we'll fund up to 50% of the project. We'll go look for the other 50%, whether it's the industry sponsor that's going to take this technology and continue it on into their operations, or other programs that are out there that can help leverage the CSER funding. Typically, projects are going to be less than $500,000 that we'll be looking at. About $400,000 is our guideline. We'll fund up to, we're allowed to fund up to 50% of the project cost under the CSER guidelines. Projects are typically 2 years. We're talking about technology validation, not development of new technologies. So it's basically validating a technology in the northern environment. A bunch of other metrics around that we'll publish on the website. And then we have a process about evaluating the impact of that technology. And I want to talk a little bit about impacts, because this is where CSER is looking for how effectively is the money used. So we have impacts that when you're thinking about a technology project or you're thinking about something that's applicable in the north, have to think about the impact of that when we're engaging in a discussion on this. We've got the traditional impacts, everything from creating jobs to increasing sales. In the resource sector, some of the impacts that we proposed and CSER liked was making operations safer is a good impact, more cost effective. These are all metrics we can capture. A better understanding of the environmental impact of your operations and how to mitigate that. That's the type of impact that we're looking at. And really the home runs are, can we help a project get through a go, no-go gate? Permitting process in the north, it's amazing how complex this is, and projects take anywhere from 4 to 14 years to get through a permitting process. And getting through all the different regulatory bodies that you have to deal with, getting technologies accepted as a standard. If we can get to that process and get a project through the permit and get it to a go stage, that's a huge win for us. Understanding the environment and what's needed to get a project started up and reducing the capital costs of a project, changing the economic model, that's a huge win for us with these technology projects. Some of the other outcomes, just to give you a sense of metrics, we're looking at about 15 projects, want to engage 15 different small businesses, want to engage 15 resource sector clients. These were metrics that CSER and our proposal panel thought were reasonable. Get involved in 10 R&D initiatives. We're looking at some projects that might involve technology transfer from Europe to here, or using European funding to help do some R&D. International initiatives, can we get some of these SMEs to actually market their services internationally if they're successful locally? Providing feedback to the strategic direction of R&D centers. One, Canada Centre for Remote Sensing is looking for where can they focus their future R&D dollars. Same with some of the defense labs. Now, defense labs not so applicable here, but some of the R&D centers, if we can provide feedback on where they should be funding, what types of projects they should be funding, that's a good impact.